In the year 2030, the venerable A-10 Thunderbolt II was, to the chagrin of an entire nation, retired from active flying operations in the United States Air Force following 53 years of service. Over the course of 5 proud decades of service, it was lovingly referred to as the Warthog by those that flew it, maintained it, and revered it. Designed as a low and slow platform, it was built to smash the onslaught of Russian tanks that NATO feared would pour through the Fulda Gap in Europe during the 1980s. And indeed, it excelled at chewing through armor and all ground targets with its 30mm Gal-8 Avenger cannon and the myriad of air-to-ground weaponry it could hold. Shortly following its retirement in 2030, rising tensions in the Pacific saw a growing demand for another low and slow platform that had the loiter time and armament staying power to tangle with ground forces at scale within semi-contested and contested airspace. Enter the A-164 Wipeout. The configuration remains the exact same, a single-seat, twin-turbofan, straight-wing subsonic attack aircraft meant to be low, slow, and in the mud with the grunts. Due to the aforementioned crisis in the Pacific theater, NATO lacked the time to develop a new platform from the ground up, thus a redesign of the venerable A-10 was used. The Wipeout would be a modernized version of the armor-eating beast the West had come to love and the enemies of the free world had come to fear. The most notable physical differences are the redesigned angular engine cowlings that house the upgraded TF-34 GE300 engines, the angled vertical stabilizers on the tail, small angular changes throughout the fuselage, and finally, the reintegration of a FLIR pod below the right chin of the aircraft. To the layman, a quick glance of this new angled structure may denote stealth capabilities, but in fact, they are meant to act as enhanced aerodynamics and do not reduce the radar cross-section of the aircraft at all, a common misconception. Force commanders should know and understand this about their Wipeout fleet before employing them on a battlefield rife with contested airspace. The primary mission of the Wipeout is to engage enemy armor and support ground forces via close air support operations, a job at which it excels. The Wipeout has 10 hardpoints for weapons across its massive airframe, 4 under each wing and 2 directly below the fuselage. This enhanced carry capacity, coupled with a large internal fuel tank, allows the Wipeout to loiter for significantly longer than any other manned combat platform in NATO's arsenal. Weapons come in a variety of NATO standard munitions, but the typical payload will consist of AGM-65G Macers, GBU-12 laser-guided bombs, 70mm DAR rockets, sidewinders for self-defense, and the 30mm Gatling cannon with 1,000 armor-piercing high-explosive rounds capable of tackling virtually all ground targets, though pilots should note that armor penetration against modern heavy armor is limited to 84mm. The gun, however, is devastating to all other ground vehicles, structures, and infantry. The Wipeout's enhanced targeting pod replaces the pave penny pod seen on older A-10s. Smaller, more powerful laser and imaging systems have coalesced into a targeting system small enough to be shouldered on the fuselage, freeing up a hardpoint for additional munitions. Like the A-10 it replaced, the Wipeout was deployed without an active radar in the nose. The cannon takes up too much space, where traditional fighters have their forward-facing antenna. Additionally, the nose houses the aerial refueling port, further reducing room for any active radar. As a result, the Wipeout relies on a suite of passive radar receivers to warn the pilot of any IR and heat-seeking threats in the area. Should they be needed, the pilot has a large reserve of IR flares and chaff bundles at his disposal. The A-164 should only ever be employed in a close air support and direct strike role, and should at all costs avoid areas with known surface-to-air missile emplacements unless performing nap-of-the-earth maneuvers through a well-planned route. Such low altitudes will drastically limit the employment envelope of most of the weapon systems on board, save for the gun and direct-fire rockets. It will also make the fighter susceptible to SHORAD and MANPAD systems, which are much more frequently encountered when fighting AAF and CSAT forces. All of these setbacks aside, the Wipeout is a powerhouse of destruction when utilized correctly within the battle space. There's nothing better than being a pinned down infantryman waiting for a gun run from everyone's favorite cast platform. During the third act of the East Wind campaign, Wipeouts can be seen deployed against the fleeing AAF and CSAT forces as NATO establishes a foothold on Altus. Unfortunately, there is no chance of flying in the campaign, and instead a single-player showcase scenario is available called Fixed Wing that puts you in the cockpit as a captain piloting a Wipeout, eliminating AAF and CSAT forces during the events of the campaign. This mission allows for the utilization of all of the A-164's weaponry and is a great showcase example for how effective even a single competently employed Wipeout can be. Rugged, vengeful, angry. The Wipeout is the aircraft you want on call when holding the line against an overwhelming force, and has solidified its place in NATO's arsenal well into the 2070s and beyond. Thank you guys again for joining, and thank you as always to my incredible Patreon and channel members for their amazing support of me and the channel. The channel just recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and I got a little choked up, honestly. This right here is about how many of you are watching this channel. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for your time and for watching, and I will see you in the next video.